on Bankhead, let's get it.
West Side Bankhead.
Real West Side, this Bankhead and Hollywood Road.
What's the first thing come to mind when you say Bankhead, bro? Shawty Low. Yo.
Shorty Low, man, you know, when you think about that whole West Side period, you think about the Shorty Lows, you think about the TIs, you know what I'm saying? You think about the Mook B's and the D4Ls and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying?
This Bankhead, this where everybody be at, this where all the Shawty Low folks, this where his barbershop, they just shut it down 6 months ago.
Let's talk about that, right? The Shorty Low TI situation.
Before TI was TI, man, Carlos was already Shorty Low, meaning like in the streets. You know what I'm saying? He already, dealing shit. T.I. uncle and T.I. family is dealing shit. T.I. at this time ain't dealing. He's young, he's not in the gang yet, but Shorty Low is in the gang. You know, so before T.I. sold, I don't care when he came off the porch, but before he came off the porch, Shorty Low had already been off the porch. And when T.I. came out with his, West Side and all this stuff, he didn't mention Shorty Low at all. And he said that it is rap. You mad I didn't mention your name? Yes. Because when you did get on T.I. for the first time, your video shoot, those cars that was in your video shoot belonged to the neighborhood drug dealer. And that is Shorty Low. Because you didn't have no budget to have cars in your video. This ain't me talking about the king. This is me telling facts.
See, I didn't know Shawty Low and Carlos
Walker was
the same person. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, Carlos I knew very well because I went to Doug and I knew him with the motherfucking triple gold datings on the goddamn Monte Carlo.
I can't remember which one, but one of T.I., probably the first video T.I. ever done, he used Shawty Low cars. Like I say, Shawty Low was the man, and had done it. And he had all the dope cars, man, the Chevelles, this, 20-inch rims, this, that, all before his time, all before that shit really was hot. He already had that shit. So what other person that you can go to right now on Bankhead and get all these cars without going to the Maserati or the Benz and spending all this money? He went to who he knew had it, and that was Shorty.
How do you think T.I. looked at Low at that time? Did he look at him like a big dog, or did he look at him like competition?
Oh yeah, of course he did. He knew he was a big dog. Who, like everybody on the whole fucking Martin Luther King Bankhead, the surrounding they knew Shawty Low was a big dog. Have your ass knocked off too, you played with him. So of course T.I. looked at him as everybody else looked at him. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that changed once T.I. got in position. Now, am I saying he should have stayed the same? I'm not saying he should have stayed anything. I'm just stating facts. It changed. And if you become a big dog yourself, there ain't no dog bigger than you. So, that's how I feel. So I'm quite sure T.I. felt like that. So ain't nothing wrong with feeling like that. I'm just trying to keep it as fair as I can because I love both of them, man. I'm down, I'm down with both. I got ties in between, from Escape to Taina, his wife, all the way to Shorty Low, and his cousin. Big shots out to Tony, all that, man. So both of them my families.
I get that what he hating for, boy. You so damn lame. You click the same, a dusty bunch of walking stain.
The world will look at that battle, bro, or look at that back and forth. And because of T.I.'s stature at that time, you would put them on the same level as far as some street shit goes.
No.
But clearly, Carlos was on some big dog shit way before T.I. was off the porch.
Yeah, straight up. Carlos was already on big dog shit. T.I. came and started doing big dog shit. Hands down, straight the hell up. But Carlos had already done it and established himself, not just throughout Atlanta, but throughout Mississippi, Alabama, New York, as far as the dope dealer. Straight up.
Just on the honor, and it just touched down. Call him 80 years, trying to re-up now, yeah.
I switched the rubber game up to the drug game, and then, nobody not in a million years think I'll be one who will blow in the drug game. I can't take my projects over.
If Carlos, if he didn't have the ear and the love and the passion for music, and founded D4L and got into it himself, because he always wanted to rap. He didn't think he could. And he founded that group and he just put money behind them. He wasn't going to be a rapper. But if he didn't find that part of himself, he would have been just like Meechie and Frank Nitty and everybody else. The Fed was gonna pop his ass and he was gonna be gone. Simple as that.
I've been hacking. Oh Lord, I found my sway.
Two different people, man. You talking about Shorty Low that everybody know that's on the streams and the downloads and all over the BET and all that. That's the Shorty Low that the world know. But here in Atlanta and College Park and East Point and Decatur and everywhere around now, we know Carlos. And Carlos moving them things, man.
I was a little nigga, bro. I'm telling you, I promise. I was a little nigga, and then he was on. He was up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, he looked back and he say, what you doing? Like, touring, baby. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. And did me just like this. Get your weight up.
I guess T.I., he know he was already dead, you know what I'm saying? I guess he want to use a little nigga out my hood who I raised. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A little nigga out my hood.
Hey, what is that? Niggas say from the west side. Who got there? It was good.
The reason he made that song, it was because I didn't get on a song that he wanted me to get on for them, but that just wasn't my thing.
T.I. respect Shorty Low. He respected him, man. Like how you don't respect him as a younger person in the streets? And Shorty Low is Big Meech in Atlanta.
King of Bankhead on the man from Born Home. Where that nigga from? Say he from Cedar, pussy. We need a seizure, 100 goon deep. What? Plus we got heater. Who can you run to? Hoping ain't Tamika.
Trees, was it ever a time that you could have got work from him?
I think that I could have got work from him during the time me and you and, you know, the staff had ended up going to meeting him and had that meeting with him and was gonna sit down and do the Shorty Low story. You know what I'm saying? I think during that time, for the simple fact we was in a good space, and then, you know, you got to keep in mind he knew I was a gunner. You know what I'm saying? So of course he would have loved to have me on her team because he don't got nothing. Even his cousin, them who I was against at first, they ain't nothing but some real straight up stand up guys. So, like, you know, and right off the rip, man, like, you know, too, when you was there, man, Shawty Low, we hit off real good, man. And he seen something in me and seen my potential. And that's why he wanted, you know, you, Video Wayne, and myself. I got these videos to do the Shawty Low Untold story.
Say, Tree, how that shit came about, nigga? Because you hit me one night. It was the next day. It was like midnight. And you like, nigga, listen, where you at? Listen, like, we shit popping. So listen, so how? Because like you say, by the time we get to the house, it was like you and Lo was like jammed again. It was like y'all was.
Yeah,
it was that establishment.
Well, yeah, and you know, you already know, you know, the past that happened. You know, I robbed his cousin. Them, they kidnapped me. I shot one of them, and bam, you know. So he know that side, but you got to keep in mind, just as much as me and you was fans of Shawty Low music and his creativity, he was also a fan of our creativity and our films and documentaries that we had done. So my initial phone call with Shorty Low was about my film, First Blunt of the Day. And right off the rip, he told me that he was a fan of my work, meaning our work. And he was mentioning our best-selling film, which is on Tubi right now, New Orleans Exposed. So, you know, he had seen New Orleans Exposed and he loved it. So, and then, you know, he looking at the guy who, you know, shot his cousin and, like, you know, right there was Soldier Slim. So, you know, that's that whole thing right there. But yeah, he was fans, man.
He was really interested in what we had going on, bro.
Right.
Like, dude really took that time out. He was like focused in on what we was talking about.
Right. He just say get the contracts to him and he was gonna sign, man. You know, you heard it yourself.
Hey man, I want the people to know too, because I don't think I ever heard this story told except by yourself. And I'm not sure if Shorty Low was that popping online at the time, but I don't think a lot of people knew that Carlos was a fat dude at one time.
Yeah. Carlos was a very heavy guy. You know what I'm saying? And when you say heavy, you know, you talking 300 pounds, you know, plus guy. You know, he was short, everybody knows. So, you know, 250, 300 pounds, Carlos was very big, you know, fat, bro. And then he drastically lost the weight. And then you had rumors out that Shawty Low had AIDS and all this stuff. None of that stuff was true. And of course, which y'all everybody know, he had like diabetes or something like that right there. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody out there in the comments or however, but it wasn't AIDS. They put out that rumor a long time ago. I remember hearing in the college part he had lost all the weight, and when you lose weight like that drastically, you don't too much just look funny, but people are used to seeing you a certain way, so it'd be hard for them to digest that. So the rumor came out because AIDS was a big thing back then, and everybody knew that you lost weight with AIDS. But it wasn't that. I think he had something like diabetes, sugar, stuff like that, and he lost weight, man. And that's what the world see Shawty Low as he is, the little small slim guy.
But he was still big Shorty Low when he was rapping, as far as in the streets.
Yeah, he still was dabbling. I'm gonna just say that much. He still was dabbling. And it's different type of dabble, and meaning you can dabble and not be in the game. This partner right here want to get a half a bird. This partner got the half a bird. Shawty Low can make that happen. That don't mean he's in the game. He did. He made a connection. Probably made a little money off of it. Who ain't done that?
A deadly crash in South Fulton County. We're learning more this morning about the man in the wreck. Local rapper Shawty Low.
Shawty Low's fans on Twitter are sounding off. They're waking up shocked this morning, learning the news of his death.
So how would you say the city changed when Low died?
Man, I mean, one thing I can say is a lot of people lost the plug. A lot of people lost the plug, man. But the city was saddened, man, because besides him having a lot of kids, man, it was a lot of people that was dependent on Shawty Low. He took care of a lot of people around the city, man. And when you say that word a lot, people think that might be like 30 people. They might think that's a lot, but it was far more people than 30 people. And when that happened, some of those people, drifted away, man. So the city was at a great loss when Shawty Low died.
Was D4L already broken up before he died, or they broke up because of that?
No. They had already separated. They had differences. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was still okay, but they had their differences. And Shawty Low went his way on his solo career. They couldn't come back to the table with agreements on what they needed to accomplish D4L again.